Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm back here today with some World Cup replays. Actually, y'all thought I was done with tournaments? No, I still have some. I have 3 games here today. I decided I'd rather just put all the World Cup games that I played together as one video instead of doing like 3 separate 10-minute videos. I figured it'd be nicer to give you guys just like a nice 30-40 minute style video with 3 separate games. But yeah, I played this right after Smogon Tour. After I won that, I play for Team Canada despite being for Chicago. We do not have to get into specifics about that, so let's just talk about who I'm playing. So my first opponent is Laz from Greece. The team I'm using today is something that my buddy ABR built a very long time ago to actually play versus me in tournament. You might recognize this because I used it in Smogon Tour Playoffs Round 1 and won with it. Really nice team, just basically based around clefabling, Gliscor sweeping. Once spikes go up, T-Tar traps the spinner, all that good stuff. So yeah, I just decided to bring something I like. I didn't really know much about Laz. I had never seen him play before, and well, I saw him play because he played the 2 other guys in our pool, and I think he lost to both of them. But yeah, he did lose to both of them. But yeah, I didn't really know too much about him, so I was like, I'll just bring something I like. I don't want to try to make like a counter team pick. His team, I saw at the preview, looked pretty unique and definitely looked like something that could be tough for me to deal with. Skarmory on his team, Skarmory with spikes. I don't have a removal, and I have 3 guys weak to spikes. On top of that, Skarm walls 5 of my Pokemon. It walls every Mon besides Clef, because Clef has Flamethrower, and if it's faster, if it has Iron Head, the Skarm can, get through Clefable if the conditions are right. So I knew Skarm was going to be a big threat. I knew Serp had the potential to definitely be an issue, just because my only faster Mon is Scarf T-Tar, and that can't OHKO. So if it starts racking up too many boosts, Leaf Storm and HP Fire can just sweep this whole team with spikes up. And I also knew Mega Chomp was in the back, but I was not too worried about Mega Chomp just because, I have a Helmet Skarm, just faster stuff in general. I wasn't too worried about it. I knew I could deal with it if the time was right. So with that, let's hop right into the battle. So I'm going to lead off right with a Mungus, knowing that I Spore everything and live everything. He goes for a Spike turn 1 as, yeah, I just Spore. He's going to double into his Jirachi here, basically confirming to me that the Jirachi is indeed Stealth Rock. I go into Gliscor just to get that Toxic Orb activated as he goes into Serp, and I am able to hit that thing with a nice knockoff straight off the bat. I'm going to go into my Mungus here as I believe he Leaf Storms. Yeah, now here I wanted to make the catch-all play. If he wanted to stay in for some reason to HP Fire on the Clear Smog, well, sorry. On turn 5, I'm going to go into my Tyranitar. Now, this covers 2 plays for me. One, if he HP fires, I already knocked off his leftovers, so at 69%, he will probably die to Bandit, Scarf Stone Edge. Or if he goes into his Jirachi here on, predicted whatever, and predicted HP fire and trying to get up those rocks, my T-Tar, can get off a crunch, some nice chip, and then my Clefable has a nicer time sweeping. So in my head, that was a pretty good mid-ground play. But he just goes into Skarm and try to burn off a sleep turn, which is a nice play on his part. I believe here I go into Metagross. Yes, I go into Metagross knowing that he's going to either stay in or double, but I thought Metagross would be able to get those rocks up. He goes into his Mega Chomp, and I was like, oh shit, that's a threat. He Mega Evolves turn 1 and goes for the SD, and I was like, boy, oh my god. Y'all remember the last time I played a Mega Chomp? It was that fateful day when I played that Mega Chomp with Stall and got 6-0'd. But yeah, he Fire Fangs, it doesn't do enough. I rolled him out into his Starmie. Unfortunately, this is the only thing on his team that can kill me from the range I'm at, so I got to get out of there and bring in my Clefable. As he Scald Burns me, he Scalds again, as I believe I Flamethrower, expecting the Jirachi to come in. But no, he's pretty safe to just Scald Fish again. I believe I Soft Boy here, so at this point, 11 turns in, I'm pretty much in not that good of a situation. Double hazards are up, I have no hazards up. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I realize now that I desperately need to kill the Starmie. On top of that, as you can see, the Starmie is not leftovers, it's Colbur Berry, which I knew because there was no leftovers, and that just kind of annoyed me, man. The last 2 times I used this team, I played 2 Colbur Starmies, but even then, Colbur Starmies still can lose to T-Tar, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, here he kind of messes up, and he goes into his Skarm. I don't know why. I'm always going for Flamethrower because the point of this is I can chip the Jirachi to where Clef can eventually win. So he messes up letting the Skarm come in there. I believe I Flamethrower again, thinking he would go just to Jirachi, because Spadef Jirachi doesn't take anything from Flamethrower. He recovers here as I Calm Mind, knowing he would go for that. Now here, I believe I Flame again, expecting Jirachi, getting off some decent chip here at 39%. So yeah, some nice chip. Like I said, I just want to be able to get this thing low enough to where I can eventually win with my Clef. But he predicts my Skarm double, goes into his own Skarm to, waste some turns. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, if you want to wake up, let me just get on my own spikes. He wakes up and goes for the roost as I whirlwind him, which kind of sucks because I thought I would keep him asleep, but whatever. He goes into chomp here as I whirlwind again, and you know, I basically chipped that thing down to 72. I know he's gonna stay in and spike here, so I spike again, and we just trade all of the spikes. Oh, I roost here to stay at a good amount of HP for chomp. I know he's gonna whirlwind here, so I just go for my spikes. And at this point, 3 layers of spikes means Starmie comes in at a lesser amount, and I can kind of deal with that. Shed Shell Scarm. I didn't even remember that at the time. But yeah, like I said, this is what I mean when I say this team is weak to Scarm. Because this thing is just in here shuffling everybody, and I can't really do anything about it. But yeah. Spore into Tyranitar as he just throws that out, making me believe that it is Scarf. Because he threw it out, I knew if it was banded, he would be likely to keep it just because I don't have good Stone Edge switch-ins. Metagross with Spikes Up is obviously not a good switch-in to a banded T-Tar. And yeah, I was just fairly sure it was Scarf because he also had Spikes, and people really like Scarf T-Tar with Spikes. I mean, I'm using it myself. It's good at just getting rid of hazard removers. But anyway, he's going to go into Skarmory here as I'm going to double into my Clefable. I believe now I just go for the Flame. Yeah, I go for the Flame as he goes into Starmie. So here I'm like, okay, go time. I got to trap it now. That's the only play I have. I go into my T-Tar now. I knew he was Cobra Berry, but I also knew that... well, I figured he also knew that I knew he was Cobra Berry, so it is still a 50-50. If I crunch, it'll die through the Cobra Berry, but if he switches out, I am in a really awful position, so I just go for the Pursuit, knowing I can live the Scald anyway. Unfortunately for me, he is going to burn the Scald, and I am going to die, which sucks. Even if I had a little bit more HP, like, if I didn't die to the burn, it would have been fine, because I would have still killed him with Pursuit burned at 26, because it through Cobra it did 26, right, so it's the same damage. But because the burn killed me, I couldn't even kill the Starmie. So I was like, shit, okay. I go into Gliscor here, knowing that I can take 2 Scalds with ease versus Starmie. Knock that thing just for some chip. Yeah, as he just keeps going for recovers. I SD here. What does he do? Go into Scarm on what, my knock? For I SD again. SD again because at this point I'm like, alright, you know, I knew in the back of my head my Clef can still win. I wasn't too worried. It obviously sucked, but it just means I won't be able to get up hazards. But I knew in the back of my head that my Clef still had a shot. Plus, my Clef is burned, which means nothing can Thunder Wave it or anything like that. Whirlwind him into the Chomp, which is nice. He Fire Fangs here as I believe I Spike. Yeah, I outplayed him here, and then I Whirlwind on the SD. So that's why I told you, I really outplayed the Chomp. Like, anything the Chomp could have done to me, I really outplayed it, so it couldn't do it, which I was pretty happy about. Roost up here on the switch to Starmie. Switch out into my Clef because again I cannot let that thing get burned, and it's just going to spin for days on my Scarm anyway. He switches into Jirachi here as I believe I go for the hard Flamethrower. A nice 24. As you can see, like I said, dude, I'm making the right place to get that Jirachi chip. He goes for the Iron Head here as I stay in, knowing I can take it. Basically I just need to be able to have Clef switch into a 2 Scalds from Starmie so that I can get the recover off. So I knew taking this damage was not going to be a big deal. And fortunately for me, I actually don't get flinched, so I'm able to get some nice chip. He makes a double into Starmie on my Scarm. Really nice play. As I believe I just go back into Clef as he just recovers. So yeah, my Clef is back at full. I think I Calm Mind here. Yeah, Calm Mind here, and then I go for the hard Flame, expecting the Jirachi to come in the next turn. But he does not want to risk that. He knows I've been playing a very aggro game. He goes into T-Tar. And again, I was pretty sure this was just a Scarf Tar, so I'm just going to Flamethrower. Oh, I Flamethrower again, knowing that he has to burn a sleep turn in case he wants to bring in the Jirachi. But the fact that he's staying in makes me figure, you know, he doesn't want anything to do with that. He sleeps again. I go for a second Calm Mind because I'm Flamethrower Ice Beam. I don't have any Moonblast. He wakes up here and goes for the Edge, and I predicted correctly it is Scarf, so that does jack to my Clef. He goes for Edge again, does another 40. I go for the Flamethrower again in case he goes to Jirachi. Now, I realized here that, okay, he does not want to risk the Jirachi no matter what. Makes sense, obviously, why. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here. Get some luck here. He dodges a Stone Edge, which is nice because it means my Clef is now at 100 instead of 66. Goes into Jirachi here as I go into Scarm. Again, takes some helmet damage. And now, like I said from the beginning, from turn 1, I need to whittle down that Jirachi. And that boy is now in the range of a +0 Flamethrower, meaning it's looking great for me. He predicts the double to my Clef, which is a nice play on his part as I go hard into a Amoonguss. Leaf Storm does whatever, but HP Fire will do a lot. I go for the Clear Smog here as the HP fires. Clear Smog doesn't do anything. Like, it actually does nothing. I thought it would do so much more. Here, I make a nice play, and I go into my Clef on the HP Fire. If he Leaf Storm there, this could have... I probably would have lost. But luckily, I get that play right. My Clef is able to stay in. and I'm flamethrowing that guy. I just knock him out, which is nice. Clef has 60. I was like, nice. So now he goes for the guard chomp switch. Basically like a ditch effort. He cannot kill me at this point. My Clef lives 100%. So I just go for the recovery here, knowing he's going to Earthquake and not SD anyway. But this man crits the Mon that won. So he got the burn. If he didn't get the burn, that wouldn't even have mattered because I would have at least had all my spikes up, but shit. But it's fine. I still got Gliscor in the back, and Gliscor can still win, so it wasn't a huge issue. I go hard into score here, as I believe he just scalds, but it doesn't do enough to 2-hit KO me because my Gliscor is hard body, baby. Scalds again. I'm able to just roost that off here, and I'm like, alright, cool. My Gliscor can probably do it now. I get +6 on the Starmie, I'm able to win. Like, it'll be a good... But no, baby, he just crits me. And then I forfeit. I said, GG, man, and I left. Honestly, a pretty frustrating game just because the matchup was pretty tough for me in the beginning, and I outlined my whole... Like, I had this game, most likely, if he didn't get the burn and both the crits. If he got 2 of the 3, 2 crits, no burn, 1 crit, if he got 2 of the 3, it would have been fine. I probably still would have won. But he got all 3, and that's why he won. So I was like, man... But you know what happens. You get lucked. Man, I just want a trophy. I can't even complain. I'm happy. I'll go back to getting lucked. I already got the bag. But now that's game 1. So, unfortunate loss. But, you know, nothing like... I was happy. I was really happy with the way I played this game. At the time I lost, I was pretty upset. Because I was like, man, it's a team tournament too, right? And I really needed to win. Because basically in World Cup, every player on the team has 3 games. So, it's 30 games. Because 10 players are on the lineup. So, I was in ORAS OU, obviously. So, 30 games. And you have to go... I believe what they figured out is you have to go 17 and 13. Your team has to go 17 and 13 to avoid playing in a tiebreak to qualify. So I played all 3 of my games on the last 2 days of the deadline, Saturday and Sunday, because I had Smogon Tour. So I was like, I don't want to play before that. So I played this Saturday, the day after, and I lost. So the next 2 games actually take place on Sunday. So at this point, our team was, I think, like 14 and 13 or 14 and... I don't know. We were 13 and something. All I know is we had 4 games on Sunday. I was 2 of them. Then we had 2 other of my teammates playing, and we needed to win 3 out of the 4 games to basically qualify with no tiebreak. So Sunday, this happened yesterday. Let's hop right into it. Blunder versus Baddummy. So Baddummy is from UK. He's using a team that was actually used versus CBB in tournament back in SPL. Pretty good team. I've used it myself. It's actually very solid. I mean, it's the same layout as what I was using last game. T-Tar spikes plus Gliscor Clef, like tried and true bullshit. Like, it's just a good team. I'm using the team I used in Smog Tour Finals versus Solwind. Again, I've been reusing some teams, but I mean, honestly, I just trust myself enough to be able to outplay my opponent, and that's why I just use what I like, even if, you know, people know what it is. But again, he must have the same idea because he's using a team that I very well know the sets to. I mean, I don't know like the exact moves in EVs, but like it's pretty obvious. I know the T-Tar Scarf. I know Gliscor's SD. I know Clef's Calm Mind, so it's not like anything too crazy. So with that, let's hop right into it. I'll lead off with my Metagross here as he leads off with Gliscor. Now, I led off with Metagross expecting... I just didn't want him to lead off with Clef. So I figured the Metagross lead was fine. He leads off with Gliscor. I also knew that his team gets boned by Metagross plus Magnezone. As you can see, once I trap Ferrothorn, he just loses to Metagross. So I was like, alright, that's cool. I knew he wouldn't stay in here for the fear of the Ice Punch. He's going to Scout, so I'm just going to Mega Up, get it off, and Meteor Mash straight up. You know, which is a good play for me because, you know, I'm able to get my Mega off as he goes in Ferrothorn. I bring in my Magnezone here as he goes right for the Hazard. So turn 2, I'm able to trap. Honestly, I think he should have kept this Ferrothorn. I don't think he needed to make that play straight off the bat. I think he had a very free switch going back into Gliscor or something unless he feared me to go for the Ice Punch predicting that. Because, you know, Gliscor 1 gets the Orb activated, it catches the Mag Double, and it catches the Hammer Arm play. So unless he predicted me to Ice Punch into Ferrothorn, which would have been a really awful play for me because 1, Hazards go up, and 2, I chip myself through Barbs, which puts me more and more in range of a Scarf T-Tar Pursuit Crunch Mind game. So honestly, I really think he should not have stayed in with Ferrothorn. I'm able to get rid of it turn 3, which is super nice because you can see my team doesn't really, you know, want Ferrothorn there. I just want to spam my moves. Here he goes into Clef. I go into Lottie. I'm not gonna go into my Metagross on a potential T-Wave or Flamethrower. That's a 100% like win con. So I go into Latios, knowing, man, how useful can Latios be versus a team with T-Tar, Clef, and Ferrothorn. So I bring it in. He actually goes for Flamethrower. I'm getting off my free defog now, and by turn 6, I have basically won the Hazard War completely. I basically guaranteed that no hazards are up. My Latios dies here, but I mean, completely fine for me, right? It did exactly what I wanted it to. Get rid of hazards. Now I'm able to bring in my helmet chomp, get my rocks up, and that's perfect because I can start whittling the rest of his team down. Goes for earthquake, does jack shit. I'm able to dragon tail him into his clef. I go into my own clef here as he just goes for the moonblast. Again, I don't want to go hard into any of my steel types on the flamethrower. Now I go into Metagross knowing he's going to Calm Mind, and you know, that was a pretty strong play on my part. Now here, some next gen like play comes out. So here I was thinking, okay, he's going to go into Jellicent. I'm going to just Zen Headbutt the Jellicent. But no, this man predicts me to predict him to go into Jellicent and goes into T-Tar. That was a flames play, dude. And I was like, damn, how did he know? But he crunches me here, but again, I know Metagross can live that because it's Metagross. And I mash and I knock that shit out the park. He goes into Lopunny now. He has to Mega and Fake Out to outspeed my Metagross the next turn. So I just go into my Chomp on the Fake Out, and it does nothing, and he takes 1,000 damage back. I figure, you know what, I might as well keep my Chomp for this Lopunny at a later time. Or Dragon Tailing out Gliscor if, you know, I ever need to do that. So I bring in my Clef on the Ice Punch knowing, you know, I'm going to wall it. He goes into his Clef here as I just soft boiled up. Now here, I don't want to hard switch out on the Flamethrower because my Metagross is at 18%. So I'm just going to Calm Mind up. Honestly, at this point, I was thinking, well, I guess I can just kind of get into a Calm Mind War. And then, you know, if it starts looking too bad, I can just sack something and still bring in Metagross. Because Metagross is still going to destroy Clef with a Meteor Mash, right? So worst comes to worst, I can just pick a sack. My Keldeo also has HP Grass, meaning once I kill or force out the Clef, I can still Mind Game, kill the Jellicent, and win with that. So I wasn't too worried about engaging in a Calm Mind War this early on because the odds are still pretty much in my favor with my Metagross Keldeo in the back. So here I go for my first Ice Beam, and I crit him, and the Clefable dies. The first one I went for got the crit. Basically winning the Calm Mind War and eventually just winning the game, as you can see, because I just sweep here with Clef because I'm Bolt Beam. The crit was definitely unfortunate for him because it basically just gave me the win right there, but I'm fairly sure I had the game at this point. He told me he had to win a couple of 50-50s, which I definitely agree with, but like I said, the game is definitely skewed in my favor. Of course, though, apologies because, again, it took everything out of his hands right there. But fortunately, I'm able to win. I was able to secure it. This was a really fast game at the time. I remember it was like a 6-minute game when we played it, super fast, 26-turn match. But yep, woke up yesterday morning, won that, and then we move on to game 3, Blunder versus Axel10. So straight up, if you're looking at my team, you can see it's the exact same team as Bad Dummies, except, oh shit, whoops, hold on. Man, I gotta, okay, fix dimensions, sorry. It's the same exact team except Manectric's on it. Manectric is a cool tech. It's able to, you know, take out these types of offenses that Axel10's running. So, you know, it's pretty nice to have this over. I mean, Lopunny would have done the same shit, but whatever. Manectric is that flex pick because nobody uses Manectric. But again, the rest of the team is like the exact same as that, guys, except the Clefable is Ice Beam again because we never want to lose to Gliscor out here. And the Jellicent is Protect. But yeah, Axel10's team is that real big HO, like in that team, Crawdon. This is not the first time a Crawdon's been used versus me. Y'all know in that fateful SPL game that Crawdon was used versus me. But his team looks powerful. It's popping. I like his team. So with that, let's hop into it. Now, looking at lead matchup, I figured, okay, look, he's going to lead off with something that can lead off with versus Manectric. But I don't have, wait, I'm trying to think. What was I thinking? Because I remember I took a while for lead matchup. I took like a minute and a half for lead matchup because I was thinking, well, how do I stop rocks? So I figured, you know what, Manectric covers 4 possible mons that would lead badly versus it, so I can get off the Mega. And if he leads with either ground type, I can just switch into my Gliscor to get the Toxic Orb off. But he lit off with Excadrill, which tells me he completely lit off with it for the sole reason of predicting my Manectric lead. And I guess it covers the Clefable lead too. Now, I know that he knows that I know he's Scarf. Because what else would Excadrill be doing on an offense team like this? It's very obviously Scarf. The Garchomp is definitely going to be Rock. So I was thinking in my head, well, if he EQs into Gliscor, I get off my Toxic Orb, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't lose too much initiative, but it's just a frustrating turn, especially with the HO he has loaded. So in my head, I was thinking this is for sure going to be a double switch. Now, I thought he would go into his Crawdon here to catch my Gliscor and immediately start pressure. But I'm still just gonna go for the Flamethrower. But I was very, very sure. It is a turn 1 prediction, which people always say, oh bro, that's a click, like you're just clicking around and like that's just a stupid play. But I was very, very confident. I know Axel10 is a good ass player, so I figured he would make the double turn 1. As he actually goes into his Metagross, I'm gonna Flamethrower that thing and I'm gonna burn it, and I basically just killed it turn 1. And yeah, I'm just gonna kill it with Volt Switch. So I basically got like the greatest thing I could have gotten out of it in like the first turn. Metagross, if it had Hammer Arm, Metagross was a good double on his part because I think it covers the Gliscor switch in and it covers the Ferrothorn switch in. If he was Hammer Arm and Ice Punch, which I assume he was, because the rest of his team is actually decently weak to Gliscor. Besides Crawdon, the other 4 will lose to a well-played Crawdon. So I think he tried to catch the Gliscor Metagross, the Gliscor Ferrothorn type double. Plus, if I go into Gliscor on that double and it's Metagross versus Gliscor, obviously he's going to, be bluffing that Ice Punch by making that switch, meaning I would have maybe gone into Ferrothorn, taken a lot from Hammer Arm, etc., etc. It just could have put me in a bad situation straight off the bat. But fortunately, the prediction works, and I'm able to just knock out the Metagross straight, and, that's fantastic. Now I'm able to go into Gliscor, get my Toxic Orb off, and first 2 turns are looking excellent. He goes into Daunt here as I go hard into my Jellicent as he Crab Hammers. I was thinking, man, maybe I'm just going to sack Jellicent here, but he Crab Hammers here. Maybe he expecting me to go into Clef on the mid ground, knowing I can take every hit, but I do want to keep my Clef healthy. Not that it's going to sweep, but I want to keep it healthy because it's able to switch into Will-O-Wisps and all that shit. I go into Gliscor here after I Wisp. Yeah, I went into Gliscor, figuring he would just go for the Volt Switch. My Gliscor is max, so I liked that play. But he just hard switches out, which is a really nice play. He doesn't want to deal with that Gliscor bullshit. Brings in Crawdon. I go into my T-Tar, expecting him to go for the knockoff this time. So I got both the plays right with this Bandit Crawdon. Man, this thing is a menace. I'm gonna go for the Crunch here on his Garchomp switch, and that does absolutely nothing. Helmet and Rough Skin do more to me than my Crunch did to his Chomp, telling me he's a max. Man, I'm telling you, Helmet Chomp is so flames. I love that mon now. Mr. Jamvad, man, he was calling how heat it was back in 2015. Man, I should have known. Anyway, I made a nice play there, bringing in my Clef to scare out the Chomp after I got up rocks, because I figured, okay, now at this point, I want to start getting on my own rocks, because I don't want him to switch. Versus, I don't want Hyper Offense to be able to keep on switching, right? I want to be able to get on my own rocks. So I go into my Ferrothorn. My Ferrothorn is actually, like, almost full Spadef, but I know I'm able to get up my rocks here and take the Earthquake, so it's no big deal. He goes into Torn. I'm able to get up my rocks. I go into my T-Tar here as the Sack. Thinking, he's going to Heat Wave or whatever, as he does just Heat Wave. Now here I was thinking, well, he's for sure just going to U-turn. So I'm just going to go into my Jellicent, knowing that, I can keep that guy for later. Like, I can keep my T-Tar as a nice sack fodder for that drill or something like that. He goes into Rotom here. Sand and Burn do its toll, so Rotom is now at a nice 64, slowly getting into T-Bolt range and, boosted Gliscor knockoff range. Again, I reveal to Protect. Usually Jellicent runs Taunt, Scald, Will-O-Wisp, Recover, but this set is actually Protect, Will-O-Wisp, Scald, Recover. Protect is really nice because it lets you keep your leftovers. You don't have to run Cobra Berry, because Protect lets you scout the Pursuit mon, which is really nice, and it definitely helped in this game. Obviously doesn't have any Pursuit, but it's just nice for, chip damage. Also, what's it called? Scouting Crawdon's move when it comes in on Jellicent. I go into Clefable here knowing the Pain Split's coming. I don't want to go into my Gliscor for no reason. He goes for the Hydro Pump here, I guess expecting me to go into my Gliscor on the Volt Switch, which I definitely did consider, but I figured, I'd rather just not risk the win con. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I should just do it. But I was like, that'd be risking the win con. I know he's going to Volt Switch out here into Excadrill. I knew that exact play was going to happen, so I just go for the Ice Beam for that chip, because it's my strongest move versus Drill. This Clef is Calm Mind, Ice Beam, Psyshock. Psyshock is there to deal with other Clefable. So, yeah. My Clefable is fucking walled by everything. It's walled by Drill. It's walled by Crawdon of all mons, but my Clef as well, yeah. But anyway, I go into Ferrothorn here, expecting him to Iron Head. Works out for me, gets a crit, but it doesn't matter. Drill's getting whittled, and I'm able to get up a free ass Spike, which is really, really nice. On top of that, he has no leech switch-ins, so now next time I don't even need to get up a second and third Spike. I can just start leech seeding and stuff like that. Going to Gliscor here because I am max HP, max Spadef. Look at that Hurricane crit, 48. Hurricane crit could not take me out. He goes for another Hurricane, fishing for a Confusion hack, something like that to, get rid of this win con from me, but it doesn't work. He goes into Rotom, as I believe I just knocked, right? Yeah, I did just knock. Take care of that thing's leftovers, which is pretty nice. Now this boy is chilling at 31%. Now I think I sacked the T-Tar because I was like, all right, cool. Rotom is nice and weakened. And I leave that thing, taking another round of burn, keeping it at 19%. At this point, I was pretty sure he was just going to sack his Rotom, so I'm able to finally bring him a Nectric Volt out of there. I don't want to keep my Nectric in because I don't want him bringing in Excadrill for free. And Jellicent's a pretty perfect switch here because the other 3 are walled by Jellicent, and I can Protect on Crawdon to scout its move. So I was like, all right, excellent. I just Protect here as he goes for the knockoff, and I was like, all right, awesome. Clef is max HP, max defense. Again, my Clef is not too useful in this matchup. It's useful enough just because I can force him to switch and take hazards damage, but I know it's not going to be sweeping or anything crazy like that, so I'm just going to recover here. I believe I go right back into Jellicent because I was like, no, dude, you're not spinning and you're not Iron Heading. And yeah, he just goes for the Iron Head, and I was like, clean. Jellicent's able to just, do the work. I believe I go hard for the wisp. Yes, I go hard for the wisp, knowing that he's not going to stay in, and the other 3, you know, I just want to burn. If he goes hard crawdon for some reason, predicting a recover, you know, I'm able to knock that thing out with the burn, basically, because it's not going to be doing anything. He goes for a hurricane as I go for the scald. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. Now I just got to scald again to knock it out as he goes for the hurricane. Hits it, confuses me, and I hit myself. So I was like, ah, okay, that makes sense. I knew he'd U-turn here because, you know, he's not going to sack his turn for free. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp, expecting something to come in as he goes in Crawdon. So I was like, oh, clean. But unfortunately, I missed my Wisp, which is fine. I already hit some. And I burned a Flamethrower. So, you know, I've already been getting my burns. I go into Clef as he predicts that correctly and goes for the Crab Hammer. Just throw out my Clef. The reason I didn't go back into Jellicent was because Jellicent's at 62 knocked off, meaning it came in, it would be at 50. Now, Drill can't KO it at 50, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't want to risk any crits or anything like that if he made the double. Just going into my Jellicent there could lose me the game, while sacking my Clef can absolutely not lose me the game. But anyway, he goes into Torn as I just recover. Now here, in case he U-turned into Crawdon, predicting my recover again, I go for the Skull just to chip at that. Plus, I don't need 100% on my Jellicent. He brings in the Crawdon. Again, I just protect to scout what he wants to do as he goes for the knockoff, and I'm going to sack my Ferrothorn. Like I said, this thing is almost full Spadef. Knockoff to 74, but Ferrothorn's actually able to clutch it and tank, so he's able to kill Crawdon thanks to the Iron Barb's damage. At this point, my Gliscor is just going to win because, you know, the other 2 on the opposing side cannot knock it out. I go into Jellicent, though. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Just because I wanted to bring in Jellicent. Jellicent was actually really nice this game. Did some real MVP shit. Like, it was crazy. Bring in my Manectric. In comes on the Chomp. HP Ice, knock it out. Has to pick a move to lock himself in with Scarf Drill, so he just Iron Heads. I'm going to be able to tank that and knock him out with Flamethrower. And this is actually the game. This is the last game we played for my team, and we were able to clinch tiebreak. So I was on my Tom Brady shit, dude. Real talk. But nah, I'm joking. I was just happy to win these 2 games yesterday. I wish I won that first. I should have won that first game. I should have had my 3-0. But yeah, happy with these games. I mean, I've been playing a lot more aggressively lately. It's been working. Yeah, I'll probably upload Showdown Live either tomorrow. I might even upload today if I have time to record it. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Canada did make playoffs, so next week you should see my playoffs quarterfinals match. So that'll be cool. Anyways, later, y'all. Peace.